Hello. Hi everyone and welcome to my Stampin' Studio. I'm Tina Rappy and today is Wednesday, December 29th. And today I'm going to share with you a couple projects that I made using stuff from the new Spring Mini catalog and the Celebration catalog. So let me grab those. All right, so this is the new Celebration catalog. If you don't have this yet, if you have placed an order with me within the last 6 months and you have not gotten this from me yet, let me know. They were put in the mail before Christmas. Hi, Donna. And then this is the new Spring Mini catalog, and they would have come together. If you are new to me and you don't have a demonstrator that you're working with, just pop me a little note saying that you'd like to receive the catalog from me, and I'll get that in the mail to you. So let me set this aside. One other thing before we get into the stamping tonight, the holiday mini catalog. This one, the last day that you can order from this is on January 3rd, okay? And there is the list of products that will not be returning. So be sure to look through that catalog one more time, see if there's anything that is a must-have that you don't have yet, and get that ordered before it's too late. Okay, so let me, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and turn things down. Hey guys, thanks for saying hi, then I know things are working. And I'm gonna turn things down and we're gonna get started right away with the stamping. So let me just cover up the camera, flip you around. I hope everybody had a really nice Christmas, or however you celebrate. We started our Christmases right after Thanksgiving, in fact the day after Thanksgiving, with our kids, and because they were only going to be here for Thanksgiving time. And then we had the weekend before Christmas, we had to get together with my side of the family. Christmas Eve was with my mother-in-law and brother-in-law, and Christmas Day was with friends. So it was busy and a really fun time. But anyway, here is the first card that we're going to do. This is called an arrow fold, okay? And it's using some of the new paper. Let me grab the paper so that you can see it. If you missed my sneak peek video from 2 weeks ago, you will be able to see all of the product that I got. But this paper is called the Artfully Composed, which is really pretty. It's tropical, and then on the reverse side are what I would call more neutral patterns. It's not actually neutral as in neutral tones, but things that could be used for anything. All right, and so let's just go ahead and get started with this. For this card, the base of it is Pool Party, all right? And I made a little template to make it a little bit easier for you to see. So the card base is 5.5, or I'm sorry, is 4 1/4 by 11, and then it's scored at 5.5. So let me bring it over here, and I'm gonna score this at 5.5. Okay, so that's the normal, simple part of doing something. But now if we look at this template, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mark it at 2 1/8 from the bottom edge. So let me grab my ruler and a pencil. So on the bottom edge, I am gonna put this on, and maybe I'll put this piece of paper underneath it so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna put the 0 on one side. I'm at 4 1/4 on the other, and I'm gonna go 2 1/8. So it's 2 inches and 1 teeny weeny little tick, and then the next one is 2 1/8. And just with a pencil, I'm gonna make a very small spot, all right? And then what I'm gonna do on the sides, I'm gonna go at 2 inches and mark it. And then again at 4 inches and mark it. And I'll do the same thing on this opposite side at 2 inches and 4 inches, and just putting tiny little tick marks there. Okay. And I am going to scroll this up. Okay. All right, so if we look back at the template, the little tick mark at 2 1/8, okay, then at 2 inches and 4 inches on both sides. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my paper trimmer back over. Okay, and what I want to do here was my fold line. In fact, let me go ahead and make that nice and crisp. All right, and then I'm going to open it back up. And what I want to do is I want to take it from that 2-inch tick mark, which is right here, and then this 2 1/8 tick mark here, I want to get those in that little track right here. So there's one spot and here's the other. And then with my scoring blade, okay, so I have a little score line going right here, all right? Then I'm going to go to that 4-inch spot and I'm going to do the same thing. So the 4 inch is going right there, and then I'm lining up that 2 1/8 spot, and I'm going to score that. The last one I'm going to do is right on this fold line that I already made, and so that's going to line up, and then we're going to this center. Okay, so now we have 3 score lines, and it's this one, and this one. Okay, does that make sense? And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So just lining up those little tick marks that I made with the track that the scoring blade runs on. And make sure that you're using your scoring blade and not your cutting blade, because you are not going to get the right looking card if you use your cutting blade. Okay, so here's what we have then. The score lines. And so for these, what I'm going to do on the first one, so the biggest one that goes clear up from the edge, I'm going to fold that back, okay? And then using my bone folder, I'm going to burnish that nice and firm. And burnishing just means run it across there so that you have a nice crisp fold, okay? And then on this next fold or score line, I'm going to bring that one forward, okay? And use my bone folder to do that one. And the last one is going to go back. Okay, so we've got like this, folded back, folded forward, folded back. We're going to do the same thing on this side now. So we're folding it back. The next one, we're folding it forward. And make sure we get it nice and crisp right down to the point. All right, let me get this folded flat. And then the last one, we're going to fold back. Okay, so we started out like this. And now we have that. And what we want to do is we want to get these ends to stay down. So let me grab my silicone sheet. And for this, I found that I really like the multi-purpose glue, the green glue. And so what you're going to do is you're going to put some glue right along that edge. And then flat. Yeah, and you saw me get a little too much glue out there and it's oozing. So let me just wipe that. And that's the nice thing about the silicone sheet. This glue will rub right off. All right, so we've got that. We're going to do the same thing over here, only hopefully with not quite as much glue. Much better. I just find that it works better with the glue than the seal adhesive because this narrows right down, and with the seal, you know, it's a little bit wider. It's like 1/4 of an inch wide. Okay, so we have those, and then this is going to get folded in back, but on the inside we want to secure that. So this is going to go like this, and on this one. Okay. Now, I'm going to lay that to dry itself. And next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of the designer paper, and the designer paper measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. And what we're going to do here, 4 inches by 5 1/4. So we're going to make that little tick mark at the 2 inch for this. And again, I've got a template, so let me show you that. This is the second piece, so this is for the insert, all right? So it's 4 inches by 5 1/4. We made a 2 inch mark here, and now we're going to take and cut it. So we're going to cut from the top corner to that 2 inch mark, putting those marks right on that track, on that groove, and this time we're using the cutting blade. So we're going to slice it there, and then we're going to turn it, and we're going to go from that point to the other. Okay, so this was our original piece that looked like that. Okay, so now we're going to go back to this, and with our designer paper, this is going to go right on here. All right, so with this, I'm going to go ahead and use my seal, Stampin' Seal. You guys ever have problems where the Stampin' Seal doesn't want to start coming out? If you use the silicone sheet here, if it just won't come out as you're doing it, just do a little check on there and it gets it rolling. So that is really handy. Okay, got the adhesive on here, and now we're going to position this with just a real small border around it. Okay, so we have. And then these other pieces that we trimmed off of here, they're going to go on the inside. So you could choose to do it like this, which is how I did it on my original, or you could decide to do this and have it look like that. Which do you prefer? Just pop in there and say stripes or leaves, and I'll do it whichever way you want. So I'll wait a few minutes for you guys to respond to that, and while we're waiting, I'm going to do the other inside piece, which is a piece of Very Vanilla, and we're going to cut it exactly like we did the Designer Series piece, okay? So it measures 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to mark it at 2. Nobody has an opinion on doing it with the stripes or the leaves? All right, let's get this 2 inches. Donna says stripes. And let's see if anybody else says things. Okay, Sheila says stripes. All right. So let's get this one. This is for the inside, and like I said, we're going to do it just like the other. There. And here. Okay. For this, these two pieces we do not use, so save those for another project. Okay, so we're going to go back here. And so let's go ahead and put the stripe side down since we got votes for that. And so we will put our seal on the reverse side. And this is going to go close to the edge on both sides. Okay, see, this is what I was talking about. Right now, whoop, there it went now. But the seal wasn't coming out, so if you just take and go like that, it gets it started and it'll start rolling. I was taking it with my finger before and trying to roll it, and then you get it all over your fingers too, so. All right. Let's try that again and get that lined right up there. Okay, so we have that. Then here is our piece that's gonna go in the inside, but we wanna go ahead and stamp that here first. So I have some Pear Pizzazz ink, and I'm using, get this in here. I'm using the stamp set Artfully Layered, which is part of the suite that this paper, the Artfully Composed paper, comes from. And I'm going to use this image here. So Pear Pizzazz ink. I'm just going to stamp it right up there, just to give a little added interest on the inside. And I see that I missed just a little bit there, so I'm going to flip it over and stamp it again. There we go. All right, so we have this. Then we'll get our card back. And this one I'm going to use the glue, just because it allows for a little more time for me to wiggle things around and get the right border in between. But you can use whatever you're most comfortable with. And so with this, I want to get it in there, and I don't want it to touch the striped design. So can you see how I've got a little border on either side? I just think it creates a little more visual interest there. All right, so we have that. And then let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. So I have two pieces, very vanilla and basic black, that I cut out using the stitched rectangle dies. Show you here, these, and I used these two pieces. Okay, all right, and then I'm using from the Artfully Layered the Happiest Birthday Wishes and Memento ink. Okay. All right. So there, our stamping is done. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back bottom edge there. And put the black right behind it. So you see how we have a little border, not around the whole thing, just on that bottom edge. And then let me grab my dimensionals. Okay. Well, I got major static going on here. Okay, and then I'm going to put it right over here. And then, so you can see how it's an arrow. We're not quite done embellishing this yet though. I'm going to use the dies that coordinate with this. And this is called the Tropical Layers dies. And I want to show you, because sometimes it's a little deceiving as to what's what when you look at things here. So this die cuts out this image that I did. So here I stamped it and then I cut that out so you can see. So that's that one. This one cuts out an outlined image. I think that's really cute. And then this one cuts out this leafy image. This one here will cut out this stamped image. And so I stamped it here and cut that out so you could see it. And then we've got these pieces. Okay, now these don't actually cut out, but let me show you. So I laid them each on a piece of paper, and we get this really cool looking texture from that. Then we have this border piece, which cuts out this little stitched border that would be cute on things. And then last but not least is this little die, and this cuts out all these tiny little leaves. So let me just cut them out already, but I don't know, it's 3, 6, 8 of them. So tiny little leaves. They also look like little hearts to me. So those are all the dies for it. But what I did, a piece of basic black, and where did I put it? Right here. And cut out that leafy image. And so with this then, I'm gonna go ahead and tuck this right up under there. So I don't need a lot of glue. I'm just gonna put them on the areas here that are a little bit thicker, just on 3 of the spots. And then I'm gonna tuck this up under there so it's gonna hang off. So there we have an arrow card. So this is the one obviously with the stripes, and this is one that continues that floral leaf pattern. So I will end up posting the templates. Let me grab both pieces. I will end up posting the templates on my blog. The blog will post this Friday. So you'll get all of the measurements and everything so that you can remember how to do that. So let me move this stuff out of the way, and then we will move on to the second card. Let's just get all of this because I can see me making a mess. Did you guys like that one? Had you seen that arrow card before? Okay, the next one that I'm going to do is a celebration, a celebration choice. So this stamp set and some paper. Grab that and show you here again. And again, it was on my video from 2 weeks ago of sneak peek stuff. And this paper, which is called Friendly Hello, these two things come together, bundled up, and these are a choice for a $100 purchase during celebration. If you order $100 worth of stuff, you can choose these two things together. For this project, we're going to use just the stamp set, and let me show you here the project. Okay, and so I've got crumb cake cardstock, and we've got light coloring on it. So, how do you do that? So let me show you. All right. So the first thing, I took a piece of crumb cake and I die cut it with the, there it is, Stitch So Sweetly dies, and I use this one. So with that, I'm going to use the bird image here and Memento ink. Now, as you're watching the videos, I would love it if you would click share. You can also, once I post it to my YouTube channel, you can share it there and like it. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any videos that I do. Okay, have this inked up in the Memento ink, and I'm going to stamp this right on here. And because it is a photopolymer or clear stamp, I like to use the foam mat underneath. It gives a little bit of cushion to it and allows for a much better image. While I have the ink out, I'm also going to use a piece of This is the same paper that we used on the first card, or from the same pack, but I'm using the more neutral print that's Pear Pizzazz and Old Olive colors. And with this, I'm going to stamp the Hope You Have the Best Birthday. And that is also from the Friendly Hello stamp set. And this is going to get stamped down here in the corner. Okay, like that. All right, our stamping on this is done. Next, let's put this aside, bring this back over. I have the Whisper White ink pad. Okay, if you notice here, it says it's pigment ink. If we look at a regular ink pad, okay, these are water-based dye inks. So if I were to stamp like this on the crumb cake, it wouldn't show up very much. So what you do to be able to get colors on a colored piece of cardstock and have them show up is you use the white pigment ink. So I'm going to open that up, and then I've got the ink refill here, and just down here on the bottom I'm just putting a touch of that. And then I am going to use a blender pen, and I'm just going to make sure that there's no ink in it, just the white that I used before. And I'm going to pick up some of the ink there, and I'm going to color it on here. So I'm basically painting with the white pigment ink. And I don't want to scribble all over it. I want to kind of paint in brush strokes. All right, let's keep this going. And I'm going to cover over the inside as well. Then let me go ahead and get the other one done. So I'm doing it on both flowers, and I'm also going to do the same thing on the bird. Okay. And let's get the old bird. But I don't want to color over his eye or his beak, so I'm just going to be careful to get around those. And it looks kind of weird, kind of ghostly right now, but give it just a little bit of time. So those of you that have the catalogs, I would highly suggest on January 4th, when everyone can start ordering out of the catalog, if there's things that you really, really want, I would suggest ordering them right away. Obviously, with the global pandemic, and there is a global shipping issue, where things are being held up in the ports and everything else. Stampin' Up! Has tons and tons of product coming our way, but the shipping thing could prevent, second shipments of things could prevent those from coming in a timely manner. So if there's things that you really, really want, I suggest getting them right away. Okay, so now you can see that that is colored in. To clean my brush from the white ink, I just take it on paper and wipe until it all comes off. And then you can end up using this blender pen for anything else you need to. Okay? All right, let's close this up. And next, I'm going to use some of our watercolor pencils. Okay, these are things that tend to get overlooked pretty easily in the catalog, but they're really great product. So I'm using Granny Apple Green Daffodil Delight and Early Espresso. So right now I'm going to take the the Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to color in the veins in the leaves. It's right over that. And the, I don't know what I want to say, twig, the branch that the bird is on and that the flowers are on. And I'm going to color these pretty dark so that they really pop. Actually, let me get this out from under it because I can get a darker color that way. Yes. Okay, so you see that? All right, then I just want to make sure that this is dry enough. It looks a little bit wet, but I'm going to take it to a clean spot on my scrap paper and just flip it over and press. If it's not all the way dry, we're going to end up smearing stuff when we color. Okay, so that, you can see here how that took some of it. There's a little bit more here. I'm going to get that off and then we should be good. Yeah, that looks good. All right, next I'm going to take the yellow, the Daffodil Delight, and I am going to color in the centers of the flowers. So these now are white flowers with yellow centers. And then next is going to be the Early Espresso. And with this, I'm going to color on this outer side is going to be darker and his belly side is going to be lighter. So I'm pushing hard in some areas, coloring right over the white, and in other areas I'm going to press much lighter. So as I'm coming around the corner here, I'm going lighter. And then really lightly over the belly area because I want that mostly to be white. Okay, like that. I think I'm going to add a little more white to the belly just to make it pop a little bit more. So, get this out real quick. Okay. All right, now let's work on assembling the card while that dries the rest of the way. So what I have here next, I have another piece of crumb cake that I have run through the Time-Worn Type embossing folder. So this is one that just has like typewriting and splotches of texture. All right, and then I have a piece, oh, and this measures, oh, what was it? I was going to write it down and I forgot. This measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then a piece of black, I just want a tiny border around it. So this measures 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. So this is going to give a tiny border around it. Oh, but actually I don't want to do that yet. I want to put this stamped piece over the top. So let's go ahead, get our adhesive on that. All right, so this measures 2 inches by the same size as this. And then we've got another new product, and this is this ribbon, and this is called frayed, where is it? Frayed ribbon. And so I'm just going to get a piece that big. How exact is that? All right. And with this, I'm going to put some glue right there, or some adhesive. Stick the ribbon to it, and then I'm going to wrap it around to the back side and just secure it there. and there. Okay, now this is going to go on the black piece. And I like to put adhesive right over the top of the ribbon too, to make sure that it's going to hold itself onto the card. And whenever I'm mounting something on black, I like to have a white or a real light background here so I can see just where the borders line up. And I'm getting that pretty even all the way around here. Stick that down. And then the card base itself is crumb cake, measuring 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. This is going to get popped up on here with some dimensionals. And I've said it before when I've done videos, but when I stamp and create, there's basically 3 things that I like to do on a card. And one is layers. Okay, so you'll see in a minute all the different layers. I mean, obviously here we have the designer paper on it, and we have the crumb cake in the black here. But layers, I also love having some texture, and so this embossing folder gives beautiful texture. And I also love to add embellishments like a ribbon or some attachments on here. Oh, I forgot on the other card too. I'll come back to it, but I wanted to add something else, so we'll come back to it. Okay, I also use basic black, and I cut one more of these from the die that I used to cut this. And then what I did is I put it on my trimmer and I cut it from one corner to the other, and so I end up with this in 2 pieces. What am I going to do with that, you ask? Let me show you. On the back side of the bird piece, get this started again, I put my adhesive. Again, I've got black, so I want a light colored layer. I'm gonna find the right side, there we go. So I've got that piece there, and I am gonna go ahead and line this up so that there's a fairly even border around it. Okay, so do you see right here and here, it's an even border. Now I'm going to take this piece and lay it down, and I'm going to do the same thing down here. So even though there isn't a die that's a graduated size to this, we can still end up matting this by doing that. And then we have these unique corners here where it's open. All right, so let's get our card back. Grab some more dimensionals, and we're going to stick this down. But I really like using this technique. It's a pretty way to have pops of color on colored cardstock that you otherwise have a hard time getting on a lined image like this. This is going to go right over here. And then some new accessories. These are the adhesive backed hexagons. And so with this, let me grab my take your pick tool. All right, with this, I am going to grab 3 of these and put them right up here. To finish this off. All right, so there we go. There's that one with the pops of color on a colored cardstock. And I had mentioned that I forgot one thing on the other card. Let me bring it back here. So here it is. And what I wanted to add on this one is some of the faux sea glass shapes. These, just like the name says, it makes it look like it's sea glass. You know, broken bottles that have been polished by the sea. And so with this, let's grab a few different ones. Let's grab one of each color here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take one and just put that there. We'll grab another color. How about the green color here? And let's stick that right there. And then we'll use the clear. And let's put that one down here so it shows a little bit. Okay, so there's the sea glass. So here are the 2 cards that we did today. So with this one, we have the version where we've got the different background, or the one with the same, and then we've got the pops of color on colored cardstock. So I'd love to know what you guys think of these. If it's something that you might want to give a try to, but like I said, check out my blog. I will have that template on my blog so that you know how to do the folds and everything with this. So I want to thank you guys for taking a little time out of your day to spend with me in my Stampin' Studio. And be sure to like and share the video. Thank you, Elizabeth. And check out my YouTube station. I have quite a few videos there showing other fun folds, and there's another card that uses this same technique. So look through those and go ahead and subscribe. So until we meet again, enjoy life, stamp something, and eat chocolate. Bye-bye, guys.